What's up, guys? It's your boy Justin back with another game review. Today I'm reviewing the 2013 turn-based RPG, The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel, right? Which was, I'm assuming, developed by Falcom and published by XSeed Games with Marvelous. I'm assuming because these games, which I have three of them, right? Legend of Heroes, a Tear of Vermilion, which I'm not 100% sure, but I think is the actual first Legend of Heroes game, and that came out in 2005 for the PSP, and that was published by Bandai, and the most recent one was published by Nippon Ichi Software. So I'm assuming Falcom is the developer because they're the only common denominator on the thing, right? So I'm assuming, right? And this game is rated T14. And this game, also, I just want to mention, if you're a fan of Kevin Street, who's a friend of the channel, he won't be publishing videos for this week because he got community guideline strike. So if you're a fan of his, right, that's why he won't be uploading videos this week, right? And he wasn't going to live stream anyway for this week or next week because he's been busy taking care of his mom. So if you're a subscriber of his, because I know we share some subscribers, just letting you know. So I'm going back to my review. So yeah, this game was a very big deal for the longest time. I swear for a last decade, everybody has been blowing smoke up this game's butt, right, for like 2 years, right? And I honestly, for the longest time, didn't see the appeal of these games, right? Because I played the first one for the PSP, right, the Tear of Vermilion, and even though I liked it, I wasn't too fan of the graphics, because that's the big problem with these games, is the graphics are not the greatest. But after finally playing more than 5 hours of this game, right away you can see why a lot of people love this game series, and that has to do with the fact that this game is somewhat a Persona clone, and it's not so much people love Persona because of the high school sim, which there is some of that in this game, not a lot though. But it's because it's basically you're playing a playable anime series. Hence why this game is so popular, because it pretty much feels like an anime series, right? As like a playable anime series, right? But yeah, it's a not open world. Whoever said that is bullshit. Which the back of the game kind of implies it's open. It's a massive, diverse, and dangerous new world. Blah blah blah. It's an open world game. Bullshit. It's not. It's not open world. Right. And the game is a lot. Well, it's not really a lot, but it's the game hence. Oh, you can control a giant robot. You can ride horses. There's only one section of the game where you can ride horses, and there's one section of the game where you can control a giant robot, and it's not till the very end of the game, right? Which I was getting kind of White Knight Chronicles feels from this game. But the difference between White Knight Chronicles and this game is White Knight Chronicles you can control the robot from White Knight Chronicles in the first 2 or 3 hours of that game. Even sooner if you just do the story shit, right? But yeah, the main story of this game, which I forgot to mention, this game, I don't know if I mentioned this, but this game set in the Legend of Heroes RPG universe, Jrpg universe, and what's cool about that is the game, it takes place. Even though The Legend of Heroes has different games in the series, they're all interconnected, right? Especially the Trails of games, right? So they'll reference his names and places and everything, right? So it's kind of cool. And the world design of this game is pretty pretty good compared to other games, even though it's basically just medieval, it's basically 17, no, not 17, 18th 19th century Europe, pretty much. That's basically what the world design is, but like it is pretty cool. You have different countries that are at odds with each other, right? And in the game, like, because the game takes place in the Empire of Erebonia, where you're like a teenager attending a military academy called For's Military Academy, where you and like 9 other first years at For's Military Academy, which is kind of weird that this school you're only in school for like 2 years. That's a little fucking weird. Right? But I don't know. Maybe that's the norm for military academies, that you're only in there for 2 years. I don't know. I've never been, right, and I wouldn't know, right? But yeah, you're part of a class called Class 7, which is a new class at Force Military Academy, where it's a mix of between commoners and nobles, right? And you get equip like new edge technology, cutting edge technology that allows you to link up with your party members to do combo attacks and everything, right? Because the game, the combat of the game it's turn based, but it's very much almost feels like a strategy RPG, because like positioning is a huge part of the combat of the game, because you do special skills that can buff your allies, but they need to be in certain, like, closeness to each other, and you have special attacks that depending on what kind of skill it is, you can hit like certain amount of opponents, right? Which what's cool about this game is that you have like different like skills, not different, just different skills, but you also have your combat skills, right? And then you also have the arts, which is like the magic system of this game, though it's not really magic because it's using Orbal technology, which Orbal technology is like powers everything in this fucking universe, right? And even it's the thing where it's like the game, the world makes it doesn't make a little sense, because it's like it's supposed to be like almost like 17th, 18th century, sorry, 18th, 19th, late 18th, early 19th kind of world, but then it's like they have the Orbal technology, and then now they have everything from trains and cars to fucking the internet, rock music, like video cameras, right? All powered by Orbal technology. So it's like a little weird, right? But yeah, the combat in the game is kind of like remind me of like Arc the Lad, Twilight Spirits, and like Suikoden, right? Especially with the how you can like customize your you have this thing called an Arcus, and you get these things called quartz that allow you to do different magic and buffs and shit, right? And you even have a master quartz where if you level it up, you get the default magic spells that come with the Arcus, right? The main plot of the story, the main like story is basically you're this character named Rain Swarzer, right, who attends Forest Military Academy, and you're kind of like this cross between noble and commoner, and because the huge part of the story is class issues, right? And you're like in between like a commoner and a noble, because you were an orphan that was adopted into Baron's family, right? And the whole reason he went to Forest Military Academy, because he was trying to find his own path in life, because he doesn't want to inherit his family's estate and titles, because he's not actually a noble, right? And then there's also the other lining fucking thing in the game where like he has a little sister that, even though she constantly berates him for not acting like he's not part of the family, has a fucking feelings for him, right? Which is, you have incest bullshit in this game. Oh my god. Which was giving me like fucking that was giving me fucking what's it called? What was that one popular fucking anime that's also a game series? Sword Art Online. Give me Sword Art Online vibes. Right. So yeah, it's cool that you're this character is like a cross between a noble and a commoner, who's also in a class with other commoners and nobles, and you have even foreigners like Gaius, right? He's from the Nord Highlands, which are basically Mongols, basically kind of. Also, I was kind of getting like, if you ever saw that Turkish historical drama Etrical Resurrection, I was kind of getting like, the vibes from that, right? Which, yeah, like your class is like a special experiment at For's Military Academy, where you're this where the directors of the school decide to have a special class where you have a mix between commoners and nobles, and send them, and you get every month you have like tests, right? Practical like exam where you fight like a monster set by the instructor, who is a former mercenary. She's not really mercenary. She's part of the Bracer Guild, which is kind of like, they're basically mercenaries, but they're not treated like mercenaries, right? Which is fucking weird because one of the characters you find out is a mercenary, and the female knight Laura, who's a classmate of yours, fucking really hates her for being a mercenary. And I thought you were gonna find out that like, is it because like the Jaegers, that's what they call the mercenaries in this game, killed like a member of her knight family? It's like, no, she just doesn't like it because she's a knight who fights for honor and whatever, and mercenaries fight for money, which that was so dumb, right? Which like, you had like earlier on in the game, you had this thing where like two of the characters from your class didn't get along, which was Malchius, who was like the son of a governor who was a commoner, right? He's part of this. There's a huge part of this game where you have this thing where like the Empire is like almost on the verge of civil war, because you have two factions: the Reformist faction and the Nobles faction. The Reformist faction, think like like the nobles and the class system, right, is archaic and it needs to go, and you have the noble faction that wants to keep it going, right? And you have the two characters in the class who hate each other because one's like a noble from a high prestigious family, and the other one's like the son of the governor, who's like one of the leaders of the Reformist faction. And I thought that would they were setting up for almost like Dragon Age 2 kind of thing, where like, you were gonna have to pick and choose which side you were gonna fight for. But then I remember this is a JRPG, and you don't really get to make those kind of choices, unfortunately. That's another problem with the game, right? But yeah, like the main thing that's going on in this game is you spend a lot of the game at school doing side quests for the fucking student the student union president or whatever, right? And then once in a while you get sent on field studies with different members of your class. They can't send all of them. You can't have all of your all the classmates as party members. You can only have, the game only gives you like half of them at a time, right? And then you get sent on field studies where you go to different areas of the Empire, and you do side quests for the local government or whatever, and where you usually kill monsters and have to deal with like civil disputes, while at the same time there's this rebel army which called the Imperial the Imperial Liberation Front, head by these mysterious figures that want to kill the Iron and Blood Chancellor, who is the leader of the Reformist faction, right? And while all that's going on, you have like political stuff going on where like a vassal state called Crossbell, which is kind of like, I guess is kind of like the New York of this world. It declares independence, right? And you have this thing where like, oh, the Empire might be going to war with Crossbell State and the Calvert Republic, which is a not a democratic country because they're republic. So that means it's voted representation. What's the word? You vote for like people to represent you, and then they get to decide what laws and what laws get passed or not. Just like a certain country, right? That everybody calls a democratic country when it's a, republic, right? Yeah. So I don't want to spoil the game too much, but yeah. I'm just gonna wrap this up and give my likes and dislikes. So my likes, so far, I like the combat system. I like the story, the world design, the weapon designs for the weapons are good, right? And I like the side quests and everything. And also there's the thing where the game is very casual friendly, right? Where if you can't beat like a enemy, you can retry. It's not a game over, and you can always like, there's an option to weaken the enemy and then retry, right? Which I had to do a couple of times because there's some bullshit bosses in this fucking game. Right. Oh, I forgot to mention there's a fucking thing where and this gave the game even more Persona vibes, where there's this old schoolhouse that has like a basement that's been around since the Dark Ages, and it fucking changes every month, right? And it's basically a labyrinth of monsters, and you every month there's a new floor, and you have to go in, investigate the new floor, and kill the boss at the end. So that very much gave it fucking Persona vibes, right? So I forgot to mention that. But yeah, back to my likes and dislikes. Yeah, I said the great world design. I like the story. Great weapon designs, right? Overall, the combat's good. Like, so there's all that. Now to my dislikes of the fucking game, which is going to give a lot of people are going to give me a lot of fucking shit for this, right? One, the fucking graphics are bad. The graphics are bad, and I know that has to deal with the fact that this game was also a PS Vita game, or an early PS Vita game back when PS Vita first came out. So they have some excuse, but yeah, that the graphics are not great for a fucking console game, right? Second fucking problem. You can now this is a big problem for me that I hate when games do this, where you grind for a new weapon, you grind up and save your money to get a new weapon, right? And what do you know? It's the same character model for all the particular weapon types, right? So besides from the weapons that your characters have, like one character has a katana, one character has a two-handed sword, one has a shotgun. Those weapons, you upgrade, you buy a new weapon, right? And it's the same weapon. It's fucking, I hate when fucking games do that, right? Next problem with the game. The game is grindy as fuck, and that has That's why the game is so fucking long, which is another problem. The game is grindy as fuck, right? I was like level 65 when I beat this game, right? Which, yeah, the game is grindy as fuck. You have to grind for hours to buy expensive items and new weapons, new items and shit. And then there's also the fucking thing where when monsters don't fucking drop money, they drop like, Cephia, whatever, energy, and then like you exchange that at a fucking some item stores let you exchange that shit, and you can get money, right? Which I hate when fucking games do that, man. It's fucking bullshit. Next, the game took me 93 hours to beat. For a series that has 4 games, and there's a new game coming, right? What the fuck? Why is the game so fucking long? That is fucking crazy. Because, like, people say the game's like 60 hours. Bullshit, you can beat this game 60 hours on your first run through, right? That's fucking bullshit. And, like, people used to complain about the how Namco Bandai handled the Dot Hack games and the Xenosaga games, where they split those games up, right? Individually, those games are like 30 to 40 hours each, right? Together, they would have been like over 150 hours, right? Here, it's like, what the fuck? This game almost took me like 100 hours to beat, right? And then there's 3 other fucking games in this Trails of Cold Steel franchise alone. And then there's a new game coming out in July, right? So it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, these games are too fucking long. Holy fuck, man. Yeah, and I forgot to mention, like, you start off with 9 party members in the game, but like 2 new people join in, right? Yeah, I forgot to mention it. And there's this cool subplot where you try to discover the identity of Seed, the leader of the Liberation Front. What's it called? The Imperial Liberation Front Army, which I was totally wrong on who like the C actually was, and I was surprised that they actually, like, at the end of the game they actually tell you who C is, because like in the trailer for the latest Trails of game, they don't show his face, they don't say his name. So it's like, holy fuck, man. That's fucking crazy. Alright, but yeah. What was other problems I have with the game? Oh, the status ailments? Holy fuck, the stale ailments. They fuck you with the stale ailments. And it's the thing where if you don't go into battle with the right equipment on, you get fucked fighting like certain like enemies, right? And you can't change your equipment in battle, right? Which sucks. And obviously you can't fucking you can only do so much by retrying, right? You can't like change your equipment otherwise, so you're basically hoping like, you don't get fucked over by that shit, which that fucking sucks. And especially since the equipment is so fucking expensive in this game, right? That obviously you're not gonna save up to buy 4 of the same fucking accessories to get, like, so like every party member has like the thing that protects them from like the certain element, when there's so many fucking ailments in this fucking game, right? So you're basically equipping everybody with accessories for like the different kinds of elements, which there are lots of, right? Like, holy fuck, man, that fucking sucks. Also, one fucking problem with the game, another problem in the game, is the game has no autosave, which is fucking weird when you consider this game was also a PS Vita game, so you would think it would have like an autosave feature, Right, but yeah, this game does not have autosave. Right, so and that's where the problem is with the fucking, like I said, where if you fight bosses that have that does certain element strikes, you can get fucked over if you don't have the right equipment equipped. Even if you weaken them, right, it can still be hard if you don't have the right equipment, and you can't change your equipment, right, in battle. So yeah, that can really fuck you. So you want to save constantly while playing this fucking game, right? And make multiple save files, because there are times where you're in like certain areas and certain dungeons where you can't leave, you can't go into town to buy shit you need. So you need to be careful with this. You need to save constantly in this game, right? So yeah, this review is getting a bit long. So yeah, I'll just go and give my rating. So we have, I think I gave like like 4 likes, and I have like 5 or 6 dislikes. Some of them were nitpicks, I'll admit. So I'll give the game, give the game a 6.5 out of 10. I like the game. It's a good game, but it has its fucking problems. So, and then the fact that the game is too fucking long. And yeah, but otherwise it's a great game. And obviously I like the game because I went out and bought fucking Trails from Zero, which we'll review hopefully sometime within the next couple months. I want to review at least 3 more games before I play Trails from Zero, okay? And at some point, I'm hoping to get more of the Trails of Cold Steel games, which is fucking hard because I have all my fucking retro gaming stores in my area has fucking went out of business even before the fucking pandemic, right? So yeah, and I don't like I don't like buying shit online, right? So yeah, yeah. So I hopefully in the future I'll get more Trails of Cold Steel games, and I've already pre-ordered the latest one for PS4 though. Yeah. So yeah, that's 6.5. If this video somehow gets 20 views, I'll let you guys. We'll do a poll, and I'll let you guys vote on the next game review. All right. So that's it for this review. Peace.